All right, I just want to jump in here and do a quick apology because for the lateness, because I was streaming this live for the past half an hour and I didn't know the live button was not on. So it's so funny because I was I was talking to myself for the past half an hour. But anyway, hey, I'm gonna repeat everything again. I'm gonna show you what I did earlier and maybe give you some insight in today's live session, right? So today, to give you what's going to happen today is I'm approaching speakers and also sponsors for Underdog.con, right? And I'm just going to walk you through what I did just now and give you an insight. Okay, so anyway, let me talk about Underdog B2B Con. Okay, so Underdog B2B Con is happening next month on the 25th of April, and it's a marketing conference. One of the differences why or how we set up Underdog Con differently is that, you know, when you go to conferences, there are normally two types of conferences. One is the conferences that is a sales pitch disguised as a conference, right? You go to the conference, and basically what happens there is you realize that you're sitting in a sales pitch, and then at the end of the day or the end of the speech, they ask you to run behind and sign up for sign up for like a oh my god, I'm coughing when I'm saying this. Like sign up for a mastermind or sign up for some course, right? So that's the kind of conference that Underdog.con is not. And the second type of conference is that, you know, you go to a conference and what happens then is basically they have a panel session. And my opinion on panel sessions is that they're kind of like a waste of time because it's not planned, right? It's just a panel session, a few questions, and they just talk. And talk is cheap. So the difference in Underdog.con is we ask speakers to share case studies and practical stuff that they have done before, and that basically changed everything because then people who attend those talks and listen from a case study point of view, they can take those little things and use it and innovate on top of them for their business, and that usually works really well in the case of marketing, right? It's just like how lawyers. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but that's how lawyers learn these days, right? Lawyers no longer they don't read books and memorize every single law in the book. What they do to learn is they learn through case studies, through cases that have happened and what kind of law was used for the case. Well, at least so far that I understand, that's how lawyers study these days, right? So now B2B another B2B marketing con is that, right? So we're going to focus a lot on case studies and getting speakers to share their work. So one of the things that that people assume is that when we run our Underdog.con, this is probably the 8th time, I think, right? The people that we invite are our friends, and the truth is we do not know these people. Okay, so in this session today, I'm going to show you two things. One is how we approach speakers, or how I approach speakers, and my process behind it, right? Plus how we ask for sponsorship. So you're going to see this behind the scenes. And I'll say before I go into this is that I'm not the best person or the key expert in doing this, but this is the process that have worked so far for me, and I'm constantly trying to improve on that. So maybe you'll find some interesting nuggets here, and you might use that for your business and for your marketing as well, hopefully. Okay, so the first thing I normally do is we will create a dream list, what I call a dream list, right? And this is not just for inviting speakers, this is also the same for anything you do. If you run a B2B business, you probably have a dream list of your top 30 or 50 clients you want to work with or brands you want to work with, right? And then you list them down, and basically the next thing you do is you look for a way to get to them. That's it, right? That's basically sales in a nutshell. So when it comes to looking for speakers, the process is exactly the same, right? So I've listed a few. It's not enough yet, and I would normally leave up to maybe 30 or 40 or 50 people, right? That I think that, hey, they're doing a great job in the market, right? I can see them doing the work, and I want to learn from them. For example, Respond.io, right, which I've just actually approached just now. I think they're doing a great job, right? And I want to learn how they do B2B marketing in the space, okay? And if they can share that as a case study during a conference and event, that would be a win. All right, so list out all your dream speakers or dream clients, and then next thing to do is to go reach out to them. So one thing I do is I will go on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like the way I would reach out to people. Okay. So earlier what I did was I went to LinkedIn and let me just replay what I've done. Okay. And I'll search for respond.io. Right. This will be my process every single time. And I'll go and look at, okay, respond.io is here. I'm going to look at, oh, I have 4 connections that work here. So earlier what I did was, I realized Rebecca, who I knew when she was working in Build Please, is now working in Respond.io, right? So I messaged her, right? And I say, hey, let me go show you my script again, right? Hi Rebecca, been some time. I see that you're at Respond.io. Hope that you're doing well. I've been hoping to invite someone from the company to speak at another B2BCon that I'm hosting next month, 25th April, right? And we are expecting 150 physical attendees plus 80 online attendees, marketers and business owners. So one really important thing is that if we are inviting someone to speak, it's like selling to this person in a way, okay? And we have to tell them and show them what's in it for them, basically. So what's in it for someone like Rebecca, right? Why would she want to bother spending her time, effort, reading my message, and also considering speaking, right? So I say, would you be willing to speak, or otherwise would you recommend someone I speak to? I had a typo there, and then I show some context. And she replied in the next 10 minutes, so that's great, right? So this is my process basically, right? Would you have been, so maybe she's not really interested in the B2B space. Okay, so I'm not going to just give up there. I'm going to talk to her and understand why. But that's basically my process. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is like, okay, I see Ixian is here, right? I know Ixian, and I'm going to tap into his relationship with me as well. I'm going to say, hey Ixian. Okay, I'm going to speak to him in my voice because I know him, right? I know him. But if I do not know him, I'll probably speak a little bit differently. So you do you, right? Next month. Right? Was wondering if someone to share a bit. Someone from Academy at Eco City. Expecting 150 plus this round. All right. Okay, always give context because this person might want to take this message and say, hey, you know, to his or her colleague and say, hey, you know, check it out. Someone invited us, and this is the link, right? So keep it simple like that, right? So once I do this, I'll come back to my list here, and I've already emailed, not email. I think I approached Rebecca, right? I will also create another one here. Call this Respond.io, and I'm going to say this is Ixian, right? So my process here is to basically reach out to a few people, like spend like half an hour, like every day for the next 5 to 8 days, reach out to as many people as I can during this half an hour, and basically it's a numbers game. So I'll reach out to maybe 50, 60 people, and maybe 15 of them will get back to me, and maybe another 5 or 6 will say, yes, I'd love to speak, right? So it's just really about reaching out to people in creative ways. So Martech Manager. All right. So one of the ways I normally do also is to you know, just go into maybe Rebecca here, right? I'm doing this live, yeah, this is not planned. And go into Respond.io and just to see who is working, right? Who is working in Respond.io. So I'm just going to go into how to do this. Respond.io. Let me just search for it. Respond.io. Right, and just view the page and look at the people in there, like who is working in the company, right? And what I'm looking for is maybe someone who is a head of marketing, someone who is head of sales, maybe, you know, who might be, yeah, head of sales, right? Maybe I will go and reach out to him acquisition lead. So the way I'll reach out to them is simple. I'll ask them like, hey, would you be willing to speak? If not, who would you recommend, right? So it's a numbers game at the end of the day. So anyway, I'll go through more when I have time, but let me just show you another company. Earlier, in the past half an hour, what I did also was to go for Swingwe, right? Swingwe, it's a company that I use, a service that I use. I found them useful, right? And I wanted to approach them and say, hey, would you want to find out like how Swingwe do B2B marketing, right? And invite someone from their company to do to speak about it, right? And my process was I went to LinkedIn again. I searched for Swingwe, right? And I went into the page here, people, and then I start scanning for who is some people that I can invite, right? And one of the person I saw was the co-founder, right? I click on him and I send him a message, right? And a contact request. And then I realized that, Jin is based in South Korea. Right? So that might not do, but again, I'm just trying my luck here, right? If you don't shoot, you wouldn't actually hit, right? So basically, I'm just throwing as many balls as I can, taking as many swings as I can, and maybe he'll come back to me and say, we you can't see my message here. Anyway, he might say something like, I'm in South Korea, I'm not in Malaysia. I might say like, okay, understand that. Do you know you have a colleague here or a team member in Malaysia who would be able to speak, right? So there's always ways to doing that, and it's just so interesting to, what we're doing here really is to talk and open up relationships, right? Okay, so that's my process basically. Let me just quickly go to another one. GoGet or View Please, Money Match. Okay, let's say go for GoGet, right? Let me just go search for GoGet right now. Right, I know the founder. I'm connected to her as well. And I have an email as well, so that might be an easier way. So I might not use LinkedIn all the time. I might also email this person and just see if they're willing to speak. But I just want to share you my process here. So normally I'll go into company, people, right? And maybe look for a head, a marketer or something like that. Okay. Co-founder, Feng Wei. I know him, hi bye friend, but not very close. Anyway, why don't we go for Francesca? Okay, so Francesca is the co-founder, right? I know her personally. I'm just going to message her and say something. Hey, Francesca. So one thing that you want to do when you're reaching out to people is that you want to know what they're up to in the last, few weeks or so, right? So maybe before I reach out to her, I'm just going to do a bit of stalking to see what is going on in her life, right? And then I can use that as a way to talk my way through. So let me just see her post. Okay. All right. Katam warehousing. Award season. Okay. Best recruitment portal. HR vendor of the year. So they're HR, they're actually approaching a lot of businesses. They're going to be a great speaker, right? For a B2B marketing event. Hey Francesca, hope things has been well. Okay. Notice that GoGet focuses a lot on B2B. B2B marketing conference next month, 5th April. Was wondering if you be willing to speak, to share about B2B marketing. All right, I'm going to go for quick deeds. I'm going to get the link and I'm going to set it over. Boom. To give you some context. I know that the title and meta text are wrong. It's recorded wrongly because we've been using the same link every time we change the conferences. So it shows the previous one is not updated in the cache in the database in LinkedIn. So I would probably have to do a debug on that. But yeah, for now that would work, right? So Francesca will probably reply me maybe later on, maybe not. If not, I'll do a follow-up. And just open a conversation and talk about, hey, would you be willing to speak in an event, share some ideas? And one important thing is that I missed out here is that what's in it for Francesca, right? And I will say something like, oh, we are expecting the 50 plus, marketers and business owners, right? Which could be her target. All right, and that might interest her into like, oh, maybe I want to take a look at this, right? So there always have to be what's in it for this person. Okay, so that's how I approach speakers basically, and it all comes back to a numbers game. So I would list out as many, not as many, but maybe a list of my dream speakers that will make this conference amazing. Because the fact about events is that the speakers determines who comes and who comes to the event basically, right? So we have to be really careful in inviting the right kind of speakers, speakers who have a great audience, a great pool, and that will determine the success rate of the conference as well. And at the same time, we also want to find balance, right? So there was once where I had a conference and like 6 out of 7 or I remember was 7 out of 8 speakers were all men, right? So there's no balance. I have to balance it out with some female, male speakers. And this is something that people don't talk about, but it's really important as well, right? You have probably seen some conferences where they're all men or all women, and there's no equality in it, or maybe all Chinese or Indian or all Malay. I know this nobody talks about this, but I think it's really important to have some balance in that, and we just have to do that. Okay. Anyway, now I want to show you how we look for sponsors, right? So I just want to rewind a little bit of what I did earlier. So earlier, I bumped into a friend, right? And this friend, he runs Ki Nguyen. It's basically a coffee chain right now. They sell Vietnamese coffee, great coffee. So it's a friend whom I know since from Penang, and basically I bumped to him and we talked a little bit, and he mentioned that, hey, he would be also keen to look at sponsoring or taking part in a business conference, because his target market or people who buy from him are usually people who are office workers and business owners, right? So, okay, so what I said to him was this, right? And I just walk you through that message I sent to him. So I say, hey, it is so cool to bump to you earlier. Following the journey, we're happy for you. How far you're going, right? So first of all, we want to open up with an opener, right? You don't go, hey, you're going to sponsor me, right? Title-wise, also important. I worded it differently. So instead of going like sponsorship for Under.com, that's like an ask, right? But now I open up with value. Hey, promote Ki Nguyen to 150 marketers and business owners, all right? And if there's something that he wants to do, that would interest him. So I'm running a B2B conference for 150 marketers and business owners next month, 25th April. Give you the link. I want to see if you'll be keen to sponsor an event, right? I can ideate some interesting ways to promote Ki Nguyen, right? Doing a video content, I give you an example like the one below, reposting snippets as social media content, provide an offer to everyone attending. So, right, send an offer to an email list, your brand or all marketing collaterals, 2 tickets event, assuming I'm able to drive 100 new customers to you. Now, this here is my little trick, right? I wouldn't say little trick, but it's basically a way to show value. If you are asking someone for, a sponsorship fee, you want to show what is their return on investment, right? And help them show what's the desired future state that they want. So, assuming I'm able to drive 100 new customers to you and each customer lifetime value is 150, very conservative, right? So let's say 1 year, a customer pays and buys 150 worth of coffee from him. That's a potential gain of 15,000 revenue, new revenue. I'm recommending the Collie sponsor, which is a 2005 sponsorship. So I kind of like try to anchor here as well. So the gain is 15K, and to get the 15K, the sponsorship is 2005. It's much better than saying, hey, the sponsorship is 2005. Please pay me, right? That does not really make sense. So, and then I end with, what do you think? So one very fine thing here as well is like, when it comes to outreach emails, I think a lot of people, they end with too many call to actions. Or what do you think? Click here to get to a call with me, da 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 da. And then they bombard these people with too many things, right? And what happens when these people is bombarded by too many things? They get overwhelmed and they do nothing, right? They don't reply because they are busy, right? You have to always respect people's time. So, keeping it simple, what do you think? If you say yes, great, let's get to a call, right? To dish out the details. If you say no, sure, I totally understand, but what made you say no, you know? And again, it's a sales process, right? Okay, so this is how we look for sponsors. I'm going to do another one right now live with you and see if you can come up with something like near the same, okay? So, under sponsors, one of the person that I really want to reach out to is Engine Mailer. Right, I've reached out to him before, the founder before, and I think this is going to be a second time I'm going to reach out to him. And let me just write an email to him, okay? So I'm going to compose, let me just bump this up. I'm going to leave the email open because I want to respect his privacy, but his name is Jeffrey, right? Hey, Jeff. And finally, I bumped into them like yesterday, so it's like when I was out in lunch. Okay, so I'm going to say, put ng mailer. Okay, important is like looking at how they brand themselves, right? So the last thing you want to do is you want to write wrongly. It shows that you have not done your research. So promote Engine Mailer to ringano.com to 150 people. To reach out for the possibility to working together. B2B marketing conference I'm hosting. Right, I'm going to get the link. This time it's focused on B2B marketing, and I'm expecting 150 people, owners and marketers, and okay. Would you be keen to be a main sponsor this round? Okay, here's what I can do for you. And in our deck, we do have the Dane, right? So I know he wants to speak. He has raised up before. Oops. I'm just going to paste it out here. I'm going to elaborate on this one, right? Get you in as our title sponsor for the event. Ticket for 8 packs. Okay. Create an offer and send it for all participants. Send the offer to our email list, 800 plus people in Daily CMO. Okay, possibly run ads as well, so we can promote the offer him. Again, when someone sponsors you, right, they want something back in return. So that's the whole here, right? So what do I might keynotes here? Okay. Oops, sorry. Right. Okay. On the stage to speak. And share about your B2B marketing strategies. Main booth during the day, right? But evergreen mini course on email marketing, promoting engine mailer. Okay, so there's a lot. All right, there's a lot. So I want to pick up his intrigue and then we'll see. Okay, all right, so assuming we are able to drive, again we're going to share the value, right? So I'm going to quickly look at engine mailer. Again, I've done this for him before, so I might have to look back at what I've proposed to him before, but let me just look at what is the potential revenue that he can look at, right? And because this is a SaaS business, this is great potential, because a SaaS business, they are looking at recurring revenues here. So like, okay, so paid $29 a month. Okay, $29 a month. Let's say I can drive 50 customers. That is 140. Okay, I'm gonna write this down here, right? So $29 a month. Okay, $29 a month. Let's just say through all this campaign here, we're able to drive 50 customers, right? So 29 plus 50, that is 1450 USD 1450. That's per month, right? Now we're gonna go on for a longer horizon here. So let's just say these 50 customers continue paying for the year. So 50 times, so 1450 times 12, that is USD 17400 here. 400, right? Okay, so total revenue is this. All right, so you following me so far? So basically, assuming we are able to drive 50 new customers through, I'm going to get a video interview with you, cut to social media snippets. Okay. Going to get Sean Tan's one. Again, it's not a great one, but we can always cut and make it better, right? So we're going to give a lot of value to this person here. So we're driving through our marketing efforts. Above. Paying. So I'm just using the same kind of script right now, right? Paying USD per month. That's a potential gain of USD 740. Okay, assuming we're able to drive 50 new customers through our marketing efforts above, there's a lot of stuff above, paying USD 29 per month, right? That's a potential gain of USD 1400 a year. Let me just see if it's correct. So 50 times 29 times 12, yes, USD 17,400. All right, so what's that in Malaysian ringgit? So USD 1450, that's 77,000 in Malaysian ringgit, right? Okay, that's gonna be simple. The main sponsor is the Dane at RM 9,000. All right, 9,000. Great. Okay, what do you think? Okay, so never heard, never asked. Again, I don't think my pitch is the best at this time. I'll probably redo it better, but because I don't take too much of your time in this session, right? I'm just showing you the concepts of how I will do this, right? So one thing that is really important is to be able to show the potential gain for someone, whether you are selling a sponsorship, whether you're selling a marketing project, you want to show them what's the gain, right? Now, a very good chance, Jeff is going to come back to me and say, hey, can we do a partnership model, right? Whereby if you become an athlete, right? So I have to be able to protect myself against that. Not to say that that's a bad thing to do, but I want to uh, be able to fund the conference, right? So if that happens, right, I might look at, okay, what if I reduce the main sponsor base to a smaller fee and then make it up, right? Like performance marketing, make it up with the amount of customers that we drive, because we still need some cash flow to run an event, right? There has to be costs. Main booth during event, and eight tickets for the event, right? So again, the reason why we are showing a gain here is that we are anchoring, right? What's the potential gain and what they're paying, right? So if I were to go up there and just approach them and say, hey, pay lah 17K, they'll be like, no, sorry, pay lah 9K. They're like, what, for what, right? But you need to show them like, okay, what's the gain, right? Now, everything that you see here are features, but what's really the thing that will open up people's eyes is basically what is the gain, what is the ROI from doing this with you. So that's really important, right? So anyway, I am going to attach this one, the public link of the deck, right? And I am going to paste it here. Okay, boop. Okay, I'm just gonna hyperlink it. All right, what do you think? Okay, Jeffrey, what I mean. Okay, and then boom, that's it. Fingers crossed. What's gonna happen, right? So again, my process is this. It's a numbers game. Reach out to as many speakers every day. So set aside like 30 minutes to reach out to speakers. And within this same 30 minutes, I also reach out to sponsors, and I do this for like 5 to 8 days in a row, and that will give me a good enough number, and that's how we approach speakers and also sponsors, right? I want to show you this before I go. So Francesca just replied me, so it's very fast, right? People will actually respond very fast if they know you and they find value, and if you open up great, they will respond to you. Oh dear, I'll be in USA that day, so sorry. Oh, again, what I'm going to say here is like, oh, wow, have a good trip. Would you be able to recommend someone else from GoGet? Right? Ask again for a chance. That will align with ICP better. This is Rebecca, also referable for both parties. We could explore that. Just curious. What does your ICP what is your ICP like? So I understand. All right, again, conversations, right? So maybe not now, but maybe in the future when I run a second event, then maybe she might be more interested, right? Maybe she has a wrong perception of, you know, what Underdog B2B Con is, right? Because I thought, hey, you know, well, Swingy, right? I mean, Respond.io sells to businesses, so maybe I could, you know, explain to her that, hey, your target market is really in the audiences. I just want to understand her. Okay, so anyway, that's how we approach people. That's how we look for speakers, and that's how we look for sponsors as well. So hope this was useful. If you have any comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. Love to hear from your thoughts, right, on ways on how you do it, how I could improve, and yeah. So thank you again, and I'll see you the next time. Bye bye for now.